A clay prism lies on a table, its ancient cuneiform writing cracked with age. This is the Sumerian King List. Each side of the prism details the reigns of kings from a time long past. The script is tiny but neat. It reveals a story that mixes myth and history. Some of these kings ruled for thousands of years, if the lengths are taken at face value. One king, Alialim, is said to have reigned for 28,800 years. Others, nearly as long. It's a mystery why these ages are so vast. Scholars wonder if it was metaphor or memory. They suspect lost stories of floods and gods weave through these numbers. Yet, here it is, a physical link to the distant past. Over 4,000 years ago, the city-states of Sumer flourished in what's now southern Iraq. Life was bustling here, with trade, written language, and temples. Each city held its own ruler, claiming divine right from gods like Anu and Enlil. These kings built ziggurats towering over flatlands, trying to reach the skies. People looked up at these structures, wondering about gods and eternity. Thula, our old guide, explains that these kings left their marks not just in stone but in the minds and stories of people. They wove their tales like weavers handling fine cloth, he says. To the people of Sumer, kings were more than men. They were chosen by the heavens, almost like gods themselves. Sumerians lived by rivers, where life thrived. The Tigris and Euphrates ran like veins through the land. These rivers fed crops that brought prosperity. Farmers worked in fields that dipped into the water's embrace. Water was life, and with life came stories. People saw patterns in nature, they saw floods come and go. Thula reminds us how the river's pulse matches the heartbeat of their tales, like the King List. Great floods swept through the land, remembered in tales long before any pen hit paper. What if these floods were real events? Perhaps myths are reflections of reality seen through a watery mirror. Thula smiles, pointing toward where stories become tangible histories. Inside small dim rooms, Sumerian scribes pressed reed styluses into wet clay. They recorded business deals, religious texts, and laws. But alongside these practical writings, they wrote the King List. Thula explains the scribe's dedication. Writing was power, a way to touch what had been and shape what will be. It's easy to forget how clay can endure when paper perishes. Each scribe painstakingly etched cuneiform onto tablets, hoping their words would last. Many tablets have crumbled or vanished. But what's left tells us their priorities. That is why this list survived. Its importance lay not just in the words themselves but in the echoes of Sumer's timeless struggle to understand and connect with eternity. At night, Sumerians looked up. Stars were stories written across the sky. Astrologers tracked these celestial paths, rolled dice about fates and the future. Thula points up, these stars are unchanged. They've seen dynasties rise and fall. Stories as old as time itself. From the skies, they gleaned omens and signs. They believed God sent messages through the stars. Kings, too, were said to come from celestial origins. Maybe that's why their reigns stretched so unnaturally long. These cosmic connections linked heaven and earth. But it was also a way to claim authority and weave human history into the grander scheme of the universe. Thula, the old storyteller, gathers children in a warm sunlit courtyard. He hands them simple clay models of kings and their emblems. With kind eyes, he starts, these are not just stories. They are echoes from our ancestors, whispers carried by time. The children listen, turning the objects in their small hands. In their minds, the kings come alive, reigning over lands and floods. They question why men lived as long as eagles might fly. Thula explains that each number was a story placed into the earth. These tales formed the bedrock of their world. While centuries have passed, the wonder remains, thriving in the minds of those who listen, shaping their understanding of what came before. In recent history, archaeologists armed with tools and hope dug into the sands of ancient Sumer. They unearthed cities once lost to time. They found fragments of pottery, tools, and clay tablets like the King List. These discoveries opened windows into a forgotten past. Thula mentions, to find the past, you must dig beneath the surface. Here in the grit and the dust, they piece together what once thrived on this land. Each artifact is a piece of a puzzle, revealing a bit more of the story these clay tablets tell. It wasn't just the greatness of kings they found, but the daily pulse of life and belief, preserved in baked earth for millennia. According to the King List, a great flood separated mythical reigns from human memory. Floods were real fears constant in Sumerian life. Overflowing rivers could destroy as much as they gave. Thula says, floods were a force of the gods. They could cleanse or curse. For people whose temples touched the heavens, water was a boundary. It separated the known world from the unknown. After the flood's mythical waters receded, new dynasties rose. And with these fresh rulers, the list begins again. The prism tells of the deluge's wrath, a mark of divine action that wiped a slate clean. These were ways of linking time with events bigger than oneself. In the light of dawn, the Sumerian landscape reveals its beauty. Rivers turn gold under the rising sun, and birds draw patterns in the sky. Thula reflects, the earth remembers, even if we forget. Light always returns after darkness. As the sun inches higher, you see fields ready for harvest, cities waking up, and people starting their days. These cycles endure past any one king's reign. While the clay prism endures through the ages, it's the living land that holds the real secrets. It's a land continually reborn, a cradle of stories yet to unfold. The Sumerians grasped this fragile eternity, weaving it into their lists and tales. Today, researchers pore over ancient texts housed in vast libraries. They seek understanding, just as the scribes did millennia ago. Thula, while older than printed pages, visits the archives, sharing his insights with those keen to listen. To decipher the Sumerian King List is to reach across generations and listen to distant voices. These researchers ponder the list sequences, comparing them against other records. They're using modern tools, like carbon dating and digital imaging, to fill gaps the ancients left. The clay might break, but its knowledge endures, supplemented by scholarly interpretations. The King List provides not just a glimpse into Sumerian history but insights into the endless human quest for comprehension. Thula stands by the river, watching it flow endlessly. In water, stories drift, he murmurs, recalling his own youth. He's seen rivers change course, just as tales evolve over time. His own reflections mingle with memories, like waters swirling together. As he watches, he ponders the King List again. It is a blend of truth, myth, and the in-between. Something that moves like the river, ever-changing, yet familiar. These stories persisted because they resonate with human experience, the fears, hopes, and the divine we seek to understand. The river continues, as do the tales attached to each stone and current, an eternal cycle shaped by invisible currents of time. In today's world, where cities are born from steel and glass, stories still matter. Technology links us in ways ancients never imagined, yet we search for common threads binding our past to now. Thula likens modern databases to ancient tablets, each recording the human experience in different ways. What we choose to immortalize tells much about us, he notes. As data fills servers like cuneiform-filled clay, we wonder about what will remain. What future archaeologists will find in our digital fossils? Just like the King List, our records will survive in some form or another. They will tell stories of our age, our priorities, and the myths we crafted, mirroring the mysteries of Sumer long ago. Years ago, town squares in Sumer buzzed with traders and storytellers. Merchants bartered, and voices carried tales handed down from elder to child. Oral tradition kept stories like those on the King List alive. Everyone from the baker to the blacksmith knew parts by heart. Thula remembers when such gatherings were common, when words filled the air like birds. Even now, in quieter places, he shares all he knows. This everyman storytelling connects layers of history and myth. Unlike tablets that might break, spoken words can live as long as they're heard. People pass on the stories, generation after generation, leaving trails of history etched into memory. Ancient walls now crumble in silence, but they're still alive with secrets. Time and nature reclaim what was left behind. Thula stands quietly, feeling both the weight and wonder of forgotten places. Walls fall, but what they meant remains, he reflects. Nature entwines history over forgotten stones, blending human handiwork with Earth's patient artistry. What was carefully laid by hands long ago now provides refuge for vines and animals. The King List is one surviving piece amongst ruins. Its inscriptions endure, outlasting time's attempts to erase what was recorded in clay. There's beauty in this silent exchange between built and natural worlds, each whispering its own stories to those willing to pause and listen. As night falls, Thula sits in a modest study, candlelight flickering on shelves of books and scrolls. He reflects on the Sumerian King List, pondering those vast reigns of ancient kings. Each name, akin to a candle's flame, burns brightly in his mind. What survived tells us what's vital, he muses. He thinks about how meanings shift and evolve, how myriads of tales were scattered like stars yet brought together in this ancient text. Although we may never understand all of it, the echoes of these ages live on. They survived not by chance but by purpose, continuing to beckon us toward histories partially veiled by time yet alive in what endures the test of ages.